Aquarius, 2026 is going to do something to you that you've been avoiding your entire life. It's going to make you need someone, not want, need. And I know that word makes your skin crawl. Need sounds like dependence, like losing yourself, like being trapped. But what if I told you that 2026 is the year you learn the difference between healthy interdependence and codependency? Between choosing someone and being stuck with them? Between connection and cage? This is that year, Aquarius, the year you stop running from intimacy and start running toward it. Get ready. I've been tracking Aquarius energy for over a decade, and I've never seen a year structured like this one for you. It's like the universe looked at every Aquarius and said, okay, enough. Time to let someone in. And before you close this video because you think I'm going to tell you to become some clingy, needy person, I'm not. You're still going to be you, independent, original, freedom-loving, but you're going to add something you've been missing, true intimacy. Here's what's coming. Here's the timeline. January, February. You realize how lonely independence actually is late February. Feb 24-27. Someone appears who gets you. Really gets you March, June. You try every trick in the book to keep them at arm's length. July, August. The crisis, they call you on your shit. September, November. You make a choice you never thought you'd make December. You end the year partnered and still free. Let me break this down month by month because the specific timing matters here, and I'm going to be real with you. Aquarius, some of this is going to be uncomfortable, but that's the point. January, you're starting 2026 the way you always start years, with plans, big plans, travel, projects, goals, things you want to accomplish. And notice how none of those plans involve another person, because that's your pattern, isn't it? You plan your life as if you're the only person in it, not because you're selfish, but because you've learned that people complicate things. People have needs, expectations, emotions. People want you to check in, to explain where you're going, to consider them. And you've spent your whole life avoiding that. That's why. But around January 6th, 7th, 8th, early January, you're going to have one of those 3 a.m. moments. You can't sleep, your mind won't shut off, and you start thinking about your life, about how you're surrounded by people, but no one actually knows you. You have friends, lots of friends, people you do things with. But do any of them know what keeps you up at night? Do any of them know what you're actually afraid of? Do any of them see past the cool, detached, I'm fine on my own exterior? And sitting there in the dark, you realize something uncomfortable. You're lonely. Not in the I wish someone was here way, but in the no one actually knows me way. And that's scarier because you did that. You chose that. You kept everyone at arm's length because it felt safer. But now it just feels empty. February makes this worse. Around February 10th, 11th, 12th, mid-February, you're going to be at some group event, maybe a party, maybe a conference, maybe just hanging with friends. And you're going to look around and everyone's paired off. Not everyone literally, but you're going to notice the couples, the partnerships, people who have their person. And usually you don't care. Usually you think, thank God that's not me. But this time it hits different. You think, what would it be like to have someone who's mine? Not in a possessive way, but in a chosen way. Someone who chooses me, someone I choose back. And then your brain immediately goes to all the reasons why that would never work. I'm too independent. I need too much space. I'm not good at emotions. I'd feel trapped. All the stories you've been telling yourself for years. But underneath those stories, there's a question forming. What if those stories aren't true? What if I'm not incapable of intimacy? I'm just scared of it. February 18th, 19th, 20th, late February. A friend is going to say something that lands. Maybe they're talking about their relationship. Maybe they're giving you advice. But they say something like, being close to someone doesn't mean losing yourself. And you want to argue, you want to explain that yes, it does. That's literally what happens. But you don't argue, because part of you is wondering, is that true? Can you actually be intimate with someone and still be yourself? February 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, late February. Mark this down. This is when everything changes. You're going to meet someone, and I know you've heard this before. You've met people before, but this is different in a very specific way. This person doesn't try to change you. They don't try to make you more emotional or more available or more anything. They just get you. It's probably going to happen somewhere unexpected. Not a dating app, not a bar, not anywhere you'd expect to meet someone romantic. Maybe at a protest or a lecture or a tech conference or an art installation. Somewhere intellectual, somewhere ideas matter. And this person is there. And they say something during a discussion. Something so specific and weird and exactly what you've been thinking but could never articulate. And you're like, wait, who is this? So you end up talking, and it's not small talk. You hate small talk. It's deep conversation about ideas, philosophy, the future, what matters. The kind of conversation you almost never have because most people can't keep up. But this person keeps up. They challenge you. They disagree with you in interesting ways. They make you think harder about things you thought you already understood. And when you finally part ways, hours have passed. Hours that felt like minutes. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You're going to try to categorize this person as just a friend, because that's safe. You're good at friendship. Friendship has boundaries. Friendship doesn't require vulnerability. So you tell yourself, oh, I met this cool person, we're going to be friends. But there's something else happening under the surface. You're attracted to them, not just physically, though maybe that too, but intellectually, energetically. You want to know everything about them, how their mind works, what they believe, what they dream about. And that one, it's not friend energy. It's something else. Something you're not ready to name yet. March, you're going to see this person again and again and again. Maybe you exchange numbers and start texting about articles you read. Maybe you have mutual friends and keep running into each other. Maybe you just make excuses to be in the same spaces, and every time you see them, the connection gets stronger. Around March 8th, 9th, 10th, early March, you're going to have one of those conversations that lasts until 4 a.m. about everything, your childhoods, your weird theories about reality, your fears, the kind of conversation where you say things you don't usually say, and they do the same. And somewhere around 2 a.m., you look at them and think, oh, this is more than friendship. Oh, I actually feel something here. Oh, no. Because feeling something means risk. Feeling something means they could hurt you. Feeling something means you might need them, and you don't need anyone. That's your whole thing. So what do? You pull back a little, not dramatically, just you take a little longer to respond to texts. You're busy when they want to hang out. You keep things light and surface level instead of deep. Classic Aquarius avoidance. But here's what's different about this person. They don't chase you. They don't get clingy. They just match your energy. You pull back, they give you space, you reach out, they respond warmly. They're not playing games. They're just secure. And that security is simultaneously comforting and terrifying. Because you can't use the excuse, they're too needy. They're not needy. They're independent too. So why are you running? Around March 20th, 21st, 22nd, late March. They're going to call you on it, not aggressively, just honestly. Hey, I noticed you've been distant. Did I do something? Or is this just how you are? And you have a choice in this moment. You can lie, make up some excuse about being busy or stressed, or you can tell the truth. I'm scared. This feels like more than friendship, and I don't know if I can do that. Let's say you choose honesty. Because something about this person makes you want to be honest. You tell them you're scared, that you're not good at this, that you don't know how to be close to someone, and they say something that changes everything. I'm scared too, but I'd rather be scared together than safe and alone. And that sentence is going to echo in your head for weeks. Safe and alone. That's been your whole life, hasn't it? Safe. Protected, independent, alone. What if there was another option? What if you could be vulnerable and safe? What if being with the right person didn't mean losing your freedom? Late April, early May, you decide to try. You don't announce it, you don't make it official, you just stop pulling away. You let the connection be what it is. And May is beautiful, Aquarius. May is when you discover that intimacy with the right person doesn't feel like a cage. It feels like expansion. You spend hours talking about ideas, dreams, the future of humanity, the kind of conversations that light you up. But there's also this other layer now, physical affection that feels natural instead of obligatory. Emotional sharing that doesn't feel forced. You tell them things you've never told anyone, and they hold those things gently. They don't try to fix you. They don't judge you. They just see you, and you do the same for them. Around May 18th, 19th, 20th, mid to late May, you're going to realize you're happy. Like genuinely happy in a way you haven't been in years. And that's going to freak you out a little because what if it doesn't last? What if you're setting yourself up to get hurt? What if this is all too good to be true, but for once, you're going to let yourself feel it anyway? June brings your first real disagreement. Around June 6th, 7th, 8th, early June, you're going to want to do something that requires being apart for a while, maybe a work trip, maybe a solo travel thing, maybe just time alone. And they're going to say, okay, but you can tell they're hurt. Not angry, just hurt. And you're going to have a conversation about needs. I need space sometimes, not because I don't care about you, because that's how I recharge. And they're going to say, I get that. I just need to know you're coming back. And that's when you realize this person isn't trying to trap you. They just need reassurance that your need for space isn't rejection. And you can do that. You can say, I need 3 days alone, and then I'll be back. That's not losing your freedom. That's just communication. Holy shit. Is this what healthy relationships look like? July. Everything's been going well. Too well, and your brain doesn't trust it. So around mid-July, July 15th, 16th, 17th, you're going to start sabotaging. You're going to pick fights about nothing. You're going to bring up that job offer in another country. You're going to test them, push them away, see if they'll leave. Because if they're going to leave eventually, better now than later, right? Better before you're too attached. Better before it hurts too much. But here's what happens. Around July 20th, 21st, 22nd, late July, they're going to sit you down and say, I see what you're doing. You're trying to push me away because you're scared. And I get it. I'm scared too. But I'm not leaving. I'm choosing you every day, even when it's hard. So you can keep testing me or you can just trust this. Trust us. And you're going to make a choice. Keep protecting yourself and lose something real, or take the risk and see what happens. August is when you choose. It's not one big dramatic moment. It's a bunch of small moments throughout August. Moments where you feel the impulse to run and you don't. Moments where you want to detach and you choose to stay present instead. Moments where you practice vulnerability even though it's uncomfortable, annoyed. Around August 20th, 21st, late August, they want you to meet their family. And every alarm in your body goes off because meeting family means this is serious, this is long-term, this is real. But you say yes. And it's overwhelming. So many people, so many questions. But they hold your hand through it. They check in with you. They create exits when you need them. And you realize they get that you're not like everyone else. They're not trying to make you normal. They're just making space for you to be yourself. Even in situations that are hard for you. That's love, Aquarius. Not trying to change someone, just making space for who they actually are. September. You're going to do something you never thought you'd do. You're going to introduce them to your people, your weird friends, your activist community, your online groups, the people who know the real you. And around September 15th, 16th, 17th, mid-September, one of your closest friends is going to pull you aside and say, "I've never seen you like this." Like what? Open. You're actually open with them. You're not performing cool, detached Aquarius. You're just you. And you're going to realize they're right. With this person, you don't feel the need to maintain the aloof intellectual persona. You can be weird, emotional, uncertain, human, and they like you more for it, not less. October brings the conversation about future. Around October 14th, 15th, 16th, mid-October, they're going to casually mention something about next year or in a few months. And they're going to say it like it's obvious you'll still be together, and you're going to have a moment of panic, followed by relief. Because you want to still be together next year. You want this to be long-term. You want to build something with this person. When did that happen? November is when you make it official in your own way, not in a traditional way. You're not traditional, but in some way that matters to you. Maybe you get matching tattoos of some obscure symbol only you two understand. Maybe you start a project together, a podcast, a business, a cause. Maybe you just decide to move in together in a completely unconventional living situation. Whatever it is, it's your way of saying, "I choose you. I'm committed. I'm all in." December, you're ending the year in such a different place than you started. January, you were alone and telling yourself you preferred it that way. December, you're partnered and realizing you can be both. Partnered and independent, connected and free, loved and yourself. Around December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, late December, you're doing something together. Maybe traveling, maybe at a party, maybe just at home. And you look at them and think, this is it. This is what people mean when they talk about finding your person, not someone who completes you. You were already complete. But someone who gets you, challenges you, grows with you, someone who doesn't need you to be anything other than exactly who you are. New Year's Eve, you're together, wherever you are. And they ask, "Where did you think you'd be right now a year ago?" And you laugh. "Definitely not here, definitely alone, definitely convinced I was better off that way. And now I know the difference between being alone by choice and being connected by choice. I'm still me, still independent, still need space. But I'm not alone anymore, and I don't want to be." Midnight, fireworks or silence or music or whatever, and you're kissing someone you love, someone who loves the real you, not the performance, and you feel something you've never felt before, free and connected, independent and intimate. Yourself and part of something bigger. This is it, Aquarius. This is what you've been afraid of your whole life, and it's not scary at all. It's perfect. So what did 2026 teach you? I think it taught you that the stories you tell yourself aren't always true. "I'm too independent for relationships" was just fear dressed up as personality. "I need too much space" was just a way to keep people at a distance. "I'm not good at emotions" was just an excuse not to try. What you learned is the right person doesn't make you less independent. They just join you in your independence. The right person doesn't need you to be constantly available. They just need to know you're choosing them. The right person doesn't require you to be emotional in traditional ways. They just need you to be honest. And most importantly, you learned that intimacy isn't about losing yourself. It's about being so secure in yourself that you can let someone else in without falling apart. It's about choosing vulnerability as an act of strength, not weakness. It's about building something with someone instead of always building alone. You're still Aquarius, still original, still independent. Still you. You just added something beautiful. Partnership with someone who's just as free as you are. Look, Aquarius, if you're watching this and you're thinking, that's not me, I'm actually fine alone. Maybe you are. Maybe this isn't your year. But maybe you're just scared. Maybe you've built these walls so high that you've convinced yourself they're who you are. Maybe you've been alone for so long that you've forgotten what connection even feels like. 2026 is giving you an opportunity. Late February, someone's going to appear who actually gets you. Spring and summer, you're going to have the chance to build something real. Fall, you're going to choose whether to commit or run. And I can't tell you which choice is right, only you know that. But I can tell you this. If you run from every person who gets too close, if you sabotage every connection that feels too real, if you choose safe and alone over vulnerable and connected every single time, you're going to wake up at 50, 60, 70 years old and realize you spent your whole life protecting yourself from something that was actually beautiful. So when that person shows up in late February, when you meet someone who speaks your language and sees your soul, don't run. Or, if you need to pull back, do it, but communicate it. Tell them I'm scared, but I'm trying. Tell them I need space, but I'm not leaving. Tell them the truth instead of disappearing. Because the difference between healthy independence and avoidant attachment is communication. And you're smart enough to learn that. You're brave enough to try. You're worthy enough to be loved. Exactly as you are. Weird, intellectual, independent, Aquarius, all of it. 2026 is your year to stop confusing loneliness with freedom, to stop confusing walls with boundaries, to stop confusing detachment with strength, and to finally learn you can be connected and free. Intimate and independent, loved and yourself, all at the same time. Get ready, Aquarius. Your person is coming, and they're going to change everything. Not by changing you, but by loving exactly who you already are.